on your side. This is NBC 12 News Today.
We are wishing you a very good morning on this lovely Saturday. Thank you for waking up with 12 News Today. I'm Brent Solomon. Take a look behind me. The weather is pretty decent right now, a far cry from what we saw overnight as storms rip through central Virginia. In Richmond, several reports of high water and even cars trapped in that water. Calls started coming in around 10 o'clock of heavy rain sweeping through the area. Take a look at a car trapped in high standing water. That's at Chamberlain Avenue near Laburnum. Fast-moving storms also flooded an underpass on Magnolia Street. Fire crews had to drain the area so they could rescue a man from his car. He drove into the water, apparently not realizing how low the road dipped, and submerged his car. Firefighters actually deployed a raft to get him out of there as he sat on the roof. Crews were able to get that underpass completely drained around midnight, so good news. Magnolia Street near Woodland Cemetery is now passable if you drive in that area. So the question on many of your minds this morning, has the storm passed? Let's check in with meteorologist Megan Wise, who has all of the answers. Megan, what can we expect?
Good morning, Brent.
Megan Wise, bring in the sunshine. Thank you. Well, we're committed to providing you updates on the forecast even when you're away from your TV. So be sure to download the First Alert weather app. We're constantly updating our weather information so you're always in the know before you step outside. All right, turning now to breaking news out of Richmond. A violent night across the city with two separate shootings and one of them fatal. Take a look at the scene unfolding around 7 last night. This happened in the 2200 block of Ford Avenue. Officers tell us they found a man shot multiple times. We're told he was rushed to the hospital and that's where he died. Right now, no word of a motive, but police say the suspect was wearing a red shirt and blue pants. So if you have any information about that deadly shooting, call Crime Stoppers at 780-1000. And we're following the latest on a shooting in the city's south side late last night. Officers responding to the 400 block of Vevedale Street. That's off of Detter and German School Road. And there was a report of a gunfire right after 9 o'clock. Officers say a woman was found with gunshot wounds and was then taken to the hospital. Police are in the early stages of this one. No word yet on what led to those gunshots or whether anyone has been arrested. Also breaking overnight in Henrico, officers tell us a juvenile was shot near a shopping center. This happened around 9:30 on South Laburnum Avenue. Police found that victim in a car suffering from a gunshot wound. He was rushed to the hospital and taken into surgery. Officers tell us they have no suspects in this case so far, so your tips could help. Call police at 501-5000. Also happening now in Henrico, a man fighting for his life after police say he was run over by a car. Officers say someone called them while driving near 9 Mile Road and Pleasant Street. That's where the caller told police a man was lying in the middle of the road, not moving. Crews rushed to the scene where they found that victim still alive. He's been taken to the hospital where police say he is in critical condition. Officers are working to track down a suspect. Happening today, one of the 49 people shot and killed in the Orlando mass shooting will be laid to rest right here in our area. Darrell Burt II, he was known as DJ to his friends. He was at the Pulse nightclub shooting, and he was there celebrating a recent graduation. He had just earned his master's degree in human resources. The 29-year-old actually did not grow up in Amelia County, but his parents did, so the family wants to bring him home. His grandmother still lives in Amelia, and she says she can't believe this has happened. She talked to us about how much she loved and respected her grandson. Now, Darrell Burt's funeral will be held today at noon at Amelia County High. He'll then be buried at Manasseh Hill Baptist Church. Also in Richmond, a local restaurant hosting a fundraiser for the victims of that Orlando shooting. The event is called Splash for Orlando. It will be held at the Nacho Mama's Bar and Grill on North Boulevard. It starts at 2 p.m. and runs until 6 in the evening. Now, there is a $12 cover per person, but a portion of all of the proceeds will go to the Victims Fund. Well, a Richmond woman hit by a car while riding her bike calls 12 on your side as her medical bills pile up. So our Drew Wilder has her story and why it may make you think twice the next time you're in an accident. Great job, Drew. Well, there's a push underway right now to tackle the so-called school-to-prison pipeline right here in Richmond. You've seen demonstrators take to Broad Street protesting youth lockup rates, and now organizers are planning what's being called a Rise for Youth rally. It comes after the Center for Public Integrity found Virginia has the highest number of children being taken from schools and into custody. Instead of a protest, supporters this year are having a block party with food and live music in hopes of getting the whole family involved. Here's what you need to know. That event is today from 1 until 4 in the afternoon at Art 180 along West Marshall Street. It is open to the public. All right, here's what I wanted to tell you about earlier. Are you hungry? Go to Home Team Grill. They want you to come out and support the city's police department. The restaurant will hold its second annual Officer Appreciation Day. That's from 11:30 in the morning through 3:30 in the afternoon. The grill will donate 10% of all food sales to a group called RULE. That's Richmond United for Law Enforcement. Now, along with the food, there will be face painting, a bounce house, and a mounted unit, as well as a K-9 team. Sounds fun. Well, there's a traffic alert now in Chesterfield we want you to know about. A busy stretch of Genito Road that connects Wood Lake to Brander Mill. It will be shut down all weekend. So to help you get around, here's our Candace Smith with everything you need to know.
Traffic center.
Great info, Candace. All right, check your refrigerator. Bolthouse Farms is recalling some of its protein shakes because they could already be spoiled. Here's what you need to look out for right after the break. And let's check in with Megan.
Good morning, Brent.
Also, be sure to keep up with us on our Facebook and Twitter pages. We'll be right back. We're up to the Minute Bureau. All right, welcome back. Your time now is 9:14. Meteorologist Megan Wise is in our First Alert Weather Center tracking your weekend forecast, so we'll check in with her in just a few minutes. All right, first we want to turn, though, to a crime alert in Henrico. Police are asking, do you know who this woman is? She's wanted for what's being called a suspicious situation that happened Wednesday in the 1600 block of Forest Avenue. Police tell us she tried to gain entry into a secure area of some type of facility. She was denied by staff there. If you recognize this woman and can help police get to the bottom of this situation, call Henrico Police at 501-5000. Also in Henrico, we're investigating your complaints about a cemetery in the eastern part of the county. Since our story first aired at 5:30 Friday, many of you have called or even emailed us about your own problems with the Washington Memorial Park Cemetery in Sampson. One big complaint is the drainage issue. When it rains, gravestones, some belonging to veterans, are covered in water, mud, and even debris. There are several gravestones that have cracked in half and have not been repaired. One man tells us several veterans' graves are just simply not being cared for.
You can look at.
Well, another person says her father's plot was double sold under previous management and he had to be moved at the last minute. The current owners, Dignity Memorial, issued a statement saying, in short, it says they are addressing concerns and they ask for people to contact them directly. We'll be sure to keep you updated about this. And Bolthouse Farms is telling customers across the country not to drink its protein drinks because they could be spoiled. The California-based company is voluntarily recalling 3.8 million bottles, the majority of which are its Protein Plus shakes. You see them there. The recall also includes the Mocha Cappuccino protein drinks. Now, the spoilage may cause lumpy appearance, unpleasant taste, and foul odor. Customers can return them to the stores where they were purchased and get a full refund. Well, your next Uber ride won't involve any guessing at all. The ride-sharing service rolling out upfront fares for Uber X rides. So instead of getting an estimate of your fare, you'll get the exact price before you request the ride. Uber has been testing the service in model cities for the past few months. The service is working on another new feature. Listen to this, the ability to schedule rides in advance. Now, that service is expected in the near future. Happening today in Henrico, the Short Pump Park will be hosting its grand opening and dedication ceremony. It's located in the 3000 block of Pump Road. Highlights of that new park include a water play area with spray fountains and an enclosed dog park. Visitors who attend the grand opening will enjoy many family-friendly and, of course, pet-friendly activities. And in Richmond, the storm damage left behind from last week is causing organizers to postpone today's vegetarian festival. It was supposed to be at Bryant Park, but the park was heavily damaged during the storm and it won't be cleaned up in time for the festival. But don't worry, organizers have already set a new date, so mark your calendar. The vegetarian festival will now be held on Saturday, July 9th, right there at the Bryant Park. And here's a live look at the James River. We want to remind you to be careful if your weekend plans involve a trip to the water. At Richmond's Westham Gauge, the James is currently near 5 feet, but starting this morning, the water is expected to start rising pretty quickly. It will crest overnight. It's expected to crest just below the 12-foot flood stage at 11.8 feet. Keep in mind, the law requires a life jacket when the water is over 5 feet, so it's definitely there. When it's above 9 feet, you must have a permit just to be on the river. So, with all of this said, let's check in with our meteorologist, Megan Wise, standing by with today's conditions. Can we go out and enjoy the day, Megan?
You know, it's going to be a great day.
All right, so from a bookstore to a brewery, coming up, hear how Barnes & Noble using beer to stay in business. Barnes & Noble is trying to bring in customers. We'll tell you how coming up. Well, would you like some booze with those books? Barnes & Noble looking to bring in more customers, and with those e-books in the palms of just about everyone's hands, it's a tall order. So here's their solution. Take a look. Alcohol. Barnes & Noble piloting serving beer and wine in 4 new stores. And they're not stopping there. They'll be adding real food to some stores too. Full breakfast, lunch, and dinner menus along with waiters. They've already hired an executive chef. The new stores will feature a larger cafe area to accommodate all of these new amenities. So the first store opening not in our area, in New York though, in the fall. The 3 others will be spread across the country by Christmas. Well, if you think roller coasters are no big deal, try this one. A 45-foot long glass slide that sits 1,000 feet above the ground. It's outside the U.S. Bank Tower in Los Angeles. Thrill seekers can climb into this tube called the Sky Slide and take the straight shot down. The slide is part of a $50 million renovation that includes an open-air observation deck and even a bar. And new this morning, the world's ugliest dog has been crowned at the 25th anniversary contest. Sweepy Rambo, a Chinese crested Chihuahua, has taken home the coveted award. The 4-pound pooch was rescued from the pound, and at the ripe old age of 17, the win marks her official retirement. Of course, she wasn't the only pup vying for that title. From pugs to Pomeranians, each one is perfect in their owner's eyes. All right, turning now to that historic flooding in West Virginia. The death toll continues to rise as many communities work to keep their heads above water. We've got the very latest on conditions there still ahead.
On your side, this is NBC 12 News Today.
Well, good morning out there. It's the weekend. Thank you for staying with us on 12 News Today. I'm Brent Solomon, standing by the lovely Megan Wise. Doesn't feel too bad out there, according to her comfort index right there. What is that, a 7?
It is a 7 for today. We've got a lot of morning clouds. Brent?
All right, Megan, we'll see you shortly. Let's talk about those heavy thunderstorms now that sent massive floods across West Virginia and killed at least 23 people. Entire communities have been swallowed by the water, and forecasters warn it could get even worse. So for the very latest, we turn to NBC's Jay Gray. All right, thank you, Jay. And in the western part of Virginia, dozens of people had to be evacuated due to the flooding there. This was the scene a few hours ago in one area. Members of the National Guard called in to help those residents. Officials say the flooding was not as bad as feared, but there is some damage. Still, after seeing what's happening in West Virginia, people here are counting their blessings.
I got help.
Well, several homes were reported to be nearly washed away while a number of roads were underwater. Part of Interstate 64 there was also shut down due to standing water. First responders from the Richmond area actually headed west to help out. All right, new overnight in Prince George's County, Maryland, where 3 people are dead and 2 are hurt after a shooting at a Maryland home. Police responded to that home in the District Heights area around 9:30 last night. They found 5 people shot. 2 women and 1 man died of their injuries. 2 others were taken to a hospital. We're told one is in critical condition and another is stable. Police tell us the shooting does not appear to be random. No information, though, about a possible suspect is available. We want to give you an update now on this massive and deadly wildfire in Central California. Fire officials say the blaze has grown to nearly 47 square miles since breaking out Thursday, and it's still burning out of control. It has destroyed 80 homes and forced the evacuation of 1,500 more. Officials say the wildfire has taken the lives of 2 people. We're told an elderly couple was killed as they tried to escape from their home. And if there was any question, it's a small world. Check your 401k. The historic decision by British voters for their country to exit the European Union sent economic shockwaves from the UK to the US, and the Dow lost over 3% of its value, shedding all its gains for the year. NBC's Bill Neely tells us more. Well, an update now on a bizarre murder mystery we've been following, one where a parrot may be the key eyewitness to the crime. Now, a Michigan woman has just been charged with first-degree murder in the shooting death of her husband. Glenna Durham is now being held without bond. Her husband was shot 5 times last year in his home. After his death, his pet parrot, went to live with his ex-wife. Soon after, that parrot began mimicking a conversation that appears to have happened between the victim and the suspect, and it ended with the words, "Don't shoot." The prosecutor says he hasn't ruled out using that parrot as evidence. Well, 3 new movies head to the theaters this weekend, but can aliens or even a shark outswim Finding Dory to the top? We've got a preview of the weekend's top films coming up in our 12 at the Flicks report, and Megan is here.
Yes, good morning, Brent.
All right, well, summer is always a season of sequels in the movie business, but 2016 may become known as the year of the delayed matinee. Finding Dory came to theaters 13 years after the original, and next month's Ghostbusters reboot is more than 2 decades in the making. This week, a mass destruction blockbuster from 1996 is having its resurgence. Here's Raphael Seth with a look in the 12 at the Flicks report. Well, are you headed to North Carolina for summer vacation? If so, you're going to want to stick around. A popular whitewater rafting site has been shut down after a deadly brain-eating amoeba was found in the water. We've got the latest from officials coming up. And we're still following this morning's top stories on social media, so be sure to follow and like us. I'm actually reading some of your comments this morning. We're up to the minute. The minute you're up.
Weather.
Well, we are having a great time here at 12 News Today. Megan Wise standing by, and you brought your buddy with you, huh?
Yeah, I thought I'd bring Dewey back again.
Okay.
He seems to be pretty popular around here. Everyone's
Right.
talking about him this morning. So this is dew if you haven't met him, or Dewey to some.
But what does this mean?
Okay, so dew point is the amount of moisture in the atmosphere.
All right.
So whenever you see readings that are above 60, 70, that's when you start sweating.
Right.
Kind of uncomfortable.
And he's sweating just a little.
Yeah, just one little sweat
Gotcha.
going down his forehead.
Oh, Dewey.
Is that a little sweat? What would you call that? A little...
Just a...
He's just a little sweaty today.
just a
He
little
might be
sweaty.
a little sweaty today. Okay, let's talk more about the temperature. Low 80s will be the high. Brent?
Sounds good, Megan. Thank you. Well, a North Carolina center suspending all of its whitewater activities after a teenager dies from a brain-eating amoeba. Experts are now testing that water to make sure it's safe for other visitors. So let's turn now to Deshaun Brown with what you need to know. All right, Deshaun Brown reporting there. Officials say they've seen just over 30 of these types of cases in the U.S. in the last decade. You can find your latest news and your weather updates right on our website, NBC12.com.
We'll be right back with a final check on your weekend forecast. Humidity, temperature-wise, Brent, will be in the mid-80s.
So we want people to get out, enjoy the day, enjoy this weather.
Looking great.
Very good. And be sure to join us, guys, at 6 o'clock because the news continues this evening. Make it a great day.